What's going on, guys? So today I want to explore a theory or a thesis that's been kind of intriguing me lately, which has to do with the idea that there's something of a realignment around where global players are thinking about crypto that's not just based on crypto policy, but is based on larger geostrategic concerns and specifically the fight between the US and China. So by way of background, China has for the last several years had a pretty strict and rigid ban on crypto. They banned mining in May of 2021, and then they banned trading a few months later and even kicked out people who were working at crypto exchanges and things like that. But over the last month or so, we've seen some pretty significant indicators that that position is softening. So you had an official at the Chinese central bank say that maybe they should reconsider that position. And now this might not be the official position of the Chinese central bank that they should reconsider it, but the fact that an official was saying this publicly means that he was allowed to say this publicly, right? This was not something where he went rogue. Otherwise, we would have very quickly seen the censors and hammers come down on this. So you can kind of see it as an opening or a loosening. Then we got updates around Hong Kong's proposed crypto trading rules. And basically, they were a lot less stringent than it seemed like they were going to be based on what we had heard lastly, which was at the end of last year in 2021. Instead, they were actually potentially opening up to retail traders, which is something that wasn't even on the agenda last year. So again, we see a little bit of this softening, given that Hong Kong is kind of used by China as a more open counterpart, right? One country, two systems kind of a thing. On top of that, you have Bloomberg reporting that at Hong Kong-based crypto meetups, there have been a number of appearances of officials from China who are there not in hiding out, basically, not who are there in secret, but who are there kind of publicly and who are interacting positively with that community. Again, this isn't some big policy shift necessarily, but it certainly suggests a new openness or a return to openness to crypto in a way that didn't appear to be there even 6 months ago. So the question becomes, what has happened in the last 6 months that might make China reconsider its position? Well, certainly it's not that crypto has done really well. Obviously, that is not the case. In fact, there have been institutional wipeouts and failures, but it may be that those institutional failures and wipeouts, or particularly the way in which those institutional failures and wipeouts are impacting the US attitude towards crypto, could precisely be why China is reconsidering. And I think this headline kind of gets to the root of it, right? FTX wasn't just a crypto exchange. Sam wasn't just a crypto actor. He was a political actor. And in fact, much of the fallout of the collapse of FTX has to do with the political system and the lawmakers who were getting closer and closer to Sam. CoinDesk went and figured it out that 1 in 3 members of FTX got cash from SBF or something related to SBF. That's a huge, huge portion of the system. Many of those people have egg on their face, and that's part of why the crypto crackdown is so loud right now. It's not just that these people want to protect consumers or protect retail investors in the US. It's that there is an actual political issue for them in what they were interfacing with and how they were interfacing with Sam and SBF. So what we have on top of all of that is also indicators that there have been pushes from the Biden administration to use CBDCs to crowd out crypto, right? Their words exactly. This is from an ex-official on the economic policy team. So obviously, China and US is a huge geostrategic battleground. It is something that is sort of at the center of global politics writ large. And it's curious to see this sort of shift in China's policy right at the same time as the US is getting more antagonistic towards crypto. And this is a theory that lots of people are starting to pick up on, or at least a few are. So Noel Atchison, who was formerly the head of research at Galaxy and at CoinDesk, wrote a piece in CoinDesk this week called "The Future of Crypto Markets Will Be Driven by Developments in the East," which gets into exactly all of this. But I think that if you're looking for real indicators, the situation that I would be watching is Binance, right? Binance has recently said that they're considering pulling back from U.S. partners as this sort of crackdown escalates. This week, we got even hotter language from Elizabeth Warren and a couple of other senators who basically accused Binance of fraud. They said in this open letter that Binance's business model was in part predicated upon money laundering. And I think that if you see in the next 6 months, Binance basically saying, you know what, screw you, Binance US is shuttering, we're pulling out, it's not worth it, which is effectively, by the way, exactly what Nexo said last year when they finally settled with the SEC, that the US wasn't worth it, especially as the rest of the world started to court crypto. I think it's going to be a really big indicator of where things are headed. So this is something that I'm keeping my eye on. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that China is going to jump back into crypto with 2 feet, but it is changing. The alignment is changing, and I think it has less to do with crypto and more to do with their geostrategic battle vis-a-vis the US. Anyways, guys, hope that was interesting. I will talk to you again soon. Peace.